Hi everyone, I'm Kate. Welcome to yoga. This class is for people who have tight hamstrings. I was one of those people. I'm still kind of one of those people because I am not naturally flexible. I came to yoga as an athlete, and in my forward folds I could get my hands to my knees. I was very, very restricted in my hamstrings, and I had this belief that if I just kept stretching, that they would get better. But they never really did until I started adding some strength work in as well. So this class is a combination of stretching and strength work, and it is definitely the thing that I've noticed that has helped me most and has helped my students most in becoming more flexible in their hamstrings. You will need a belt, strap, whatever you have at home, a towel would work, and a block. If you don't have a block, this is one of those classes where you don't want to substitute it for a book. You'll want a rolled up towel or just something kind of soft-ish in this approximate shape. So let's go ahead and get started. So come to kneel on your right side with your left foot on the floor. If sitting like this in combat base, as it's known in functional range conditioning, is uncomfortable for you, especially in the hips or the top of this other foot, you can come up and just bring the knee as far over the ankle as you can in whatever kind of variation, because what we're concentrating on here is finding a stretch through the ankle and into the lower calf. So bring as much weight as you can onto this foot. Keep the heel on the mat, and that knee tracks straight ahead or slightly out to the side. And the reason we're starting with ankles in a hamstring class is that another thing I've noticed in students is further down the posterior chain, so in the calves or the ankles, can quite often be tight and restricting things like forward bends, and it's not always just coming from your hamstring. So this is why we're starting here with this stretch. Take a deep inhale, exhale it out, breathing in and out through the nose, and then with 20 or 30% of your possible effort, I want you to push your toes down into the mat like you're trying to stamp your foot through it. Stay here as far forward as you can, but keep trying to push those toes down. Feel the stretch increase. And then reverse it. Try and lift the toes off the mat, but again, keeping as far forward as you can, so you'll feel this kind of stuff in the front of the shin starting to work. And then gently release. See if you can come even a little further forward in the stretch. Make sure you're keeping the heel down. If you're someone who lifts weights, you will probably find this stretch pretty helpful for most lower body exercises. And then coming up, switching sides. So same thing, if sitting back here is uncomfortable for you, just come up to a half kneel. Keep bringing this knee as far over the toes as you can, tracking straight ahead or slightly out to the side. And keep your heel on the floor. Another couple of rounds of breath here. And then 20% effort, 30% effort, trying to push the toes down into the mat, like you'd stamp your foot through the floor. Find a round of breath. And then reverse it, try and pull the toes off the mat. Keep this knee tracking as far forward as you can. Find another round of breath. And then gently release back into the stretch. One more breath here. And then gently back off out of it. Come to stand and grab hold of your block. So from here, you're going to pop the block between your thighs and squeeze your inner thighs. And I want you to squeeze your glutes as well. Not like full clench, but just gentle engagement so you can feel that strength in the legs. And again, when your muscles are working and engaged in a stretch, your body trusts you more to go into that stretch, and then will also tend to open up more over time, a lot quicker than if you're just kind of hanging out in stretches. So keep squeezing the block, ground through the feet. Nice. And then hands are going to come up and out, palms touch. And then fold it forward. Keep squeezing the block, find your forward fold. Find a few rounds of breath. You can even cross the arms and let them hang. Notice if you put all the weight into your heels, see if you can rock some forward into the toes so you have that balance of weight in the feet. Keep squeezing the block. It's almost like you're trying to pull yourself into the stretch. And then gently release the arms. Hands come to shins. Half lift. Almost trying to stick the butt out here, flatten out the back. And then fold it forward again. Push to stand. Arms come up. Palms touch. And down through prayer. Nice. And again, arms up, palms touch. Fold it forward. Take a few rounds of breath here. Keep squeezing the block. Find the balance of weight in the feet. See if you can use the hip flexors and the core to pull the chest closer to the thighs. Not forgetting that squeeze on the block. And then release the hands. Hands come to shins, half lift. Fold it forwards. Push to stand, arms overhead, palms touch. And take it down through prayer. So from here we're going to lose the block. But I want you to remember that feeling of squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, because that strength, again, is what's going to help you go deeper in the poses and help your body trust you. So, plant the feet, spread the toes, grow tall through the ground of the head. Palms face forward in mountain pose. From here, arms out in front, palms touch. And fold it forward through prayer. Keep squeezing the thighs, squeezing the glutes. Draw yourself into the stretch. Hands to shins, half lift. Forward fold. And then step it back. Find a high plank. So spread the fingers, ground down through all the knuckles of the hand, including the inner edges. Keeping the chest lifted, core is active. And then drop the knees to the mat. Slowly bend the elbows, lower down. And then lift the chest and the shoulders. Find cobra pose. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Slowly lower. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. And here in down dog, just pedal the feet out. So bend one knee, straighten the opposite leg. Take the heel towards the mat. And then switching sides. And then you can just pedal the feet out here, feeling that stretch in the calves. Again, finding some slack through the calves can sometimes help you go a little deeper into your forward folds. Take some of the pressure off the hamstrings. And then coming to stillness in your downward dog. Lifting the hips up and back. From here, Right leg goes high, step it up between the hands, and then push to stand, arms come overhead, crescent lunge. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, square the hips to the front of the mat. And if you're a little wobbly here, make sure that your feet are still hip distance apart, so you're on train tracks versus like standing on a tightrope. That will definitely get a little bit wobbly. From here, hands are going to come to prayer, and you're going to put all the weight into that front leg and gently start to float the back leg off the mat. Notice if your right hip wants to shoot out to the side, see if you can suck it back to the midline. And then start to bend a little into that knee, let the torso drop a little. And then push to stand. Bring the knee up. Take it back, find that variation of warrior 3. If you need to bring the hands to the mat for balance, totally feel free to do that. And then start to bend a little more into the standing leg, bring the torso closer to the thigh. Then feel that stretch in the back of the hamstring. And then use everything in the back of the leg to pull you up. And one last time, again, either hands to prayer, hands to the mat. If you have a block, you can even bring your hands to that if that feels good to you. Whatever works. And then slowly lower back. Arms come overhead. Fine crescent. Hands to the mat. Step it back. Find your plank. So option is always to drop the knees to the mat. Otherwise, lower in one straight line. Lift the chest and shoulders for cobra. And take it back. Downward facing dog. Other side. Left leg goes high. Step it up between the hands. Fine crescent lunge. Arms overhead. Squeeze the inner thighs. Hands come to prayer. Again, weight into that front leg. Start to push off. Find that balance. And then see if you can bend the leg a little. Torso comes lower. And then bring it up. Lift the knee. Take it back. Warrior 3. Again, hands can come down. Bring the torso closer to the thigh. Use everything in the back of the leg to come back up. If you have to put your foot down as you're moving, balance isn't great, doesn't matter. You can always feel free to do that. Find that stretch, then use everything in the back of the leg to pull you back to crescent, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step it back. Find that plank. Slowly lower. Lift. And then take it back. Downward facing dog. From here, you can walk or step or hop your way to the front of the mat. Find your forward fold. Squeeze the inner thighs. Half lift. Forward fold. Push to stand, arms out in front. And down through prayer. And again, arms come up. Down through prayer. Half lift, flatten out the back. Fold it forward. And step it back. Find that high plank. Push the floor away, ground through the knuckles. Slowly lower. Lift it to cobra. And then take it back. Downward facing dog. So same again, just like we did before, right leg lifts. Step it up between the hands. Find crescent lunge. Square the hips to the front of the mat. And then hands to prayer. All the weight into the front foot. Find that variation of warrior 3. If you want more of a challenge, you can extend the arms. And then bend the leg a little. Bring the torso a little lower so you really feel that stretch in the hamstring. Then use everything in the back of the leg to pull you up. And again, take it back. Pull it back up. And one last time. Slowly take it back to crescent. And then hands to the mat. Step it back. Plank. Slowly lower. Lift to cobra. And then take it back. Downward facing dog. Other leg lifts. Left leg. Step it forward. Find crescent. Arms go overhead. Square the hips to the front of the mat. So if you've ever done single leg Romanian deadlifts in the gym, you'll probably recognize the movement that we're doing. They're also really helpful, hint hint, for helping to lengthen your hamstrings. I would always recommend combining weights and yoga. Hands to prayer, all the way into that front foot. Coming up into warrior 3. Again, for more, bring the arms out. Bend the knee enough, bring the torso low enough to feel that stretch in the back of the leg. And then use the muscles in the back of the leg to pull you up. Lift the knee. Take it back. Feel that stretch. Bring it back up. And one last time. Pull yourself back to crescent. Hands to the mat. Step it back. Find plank. Lower to the mat. Lift to cobra. And then take it back. Downward facing dog. From here, left leg lifts high. Step it up between the hands. And you're going to start to swivel until you're sideways on your mat with your feet facing straight ahead. So, again, if your hamstrings are on the less stretchy side currently, you can bring the hands to a block or drink bottles, box of beer, anything to elevate your hands that you have at home. Again, notice if you kind of stick the butt out and take all the weight into your heels. See if you can rock it forward so the weight is balanced. If you have more length in the hamstrings, you can start to bring it down. Finding the breath here. Let the head be heavy. You might even find crossing the arms pleasant and also adds a little bit of gravity. From here, coming back up, you're going to walk your hands around to the back of your mat so your right foot is forward. Step your back foot in until you can bring the heel down, and then square the hips to the front of the mat. A variation of pyramid pose. So take an inhale. See if you can flatten out the back. If your hands are on your hips and you're here, or you need hands on blocks, totally fine. Again, I wasn't super flexible when I started yoga. The version that I did of this pose back then was like about here, very bent knees, So just meet your body where it's at. It doesn't matter. You will get there. It's all about just starting to feel a little more comfortable in your body, how far you can go in a forward fold. Just doesn't really say anything about you as a person, but because it can make you more comfortable in your body, it's worth employing some of the strategies that I've brought in today. But please don't berate yourself because you're at a certain level that doesn't match where you want to be. It's just time and consistency that will get you there. From here, walk it back. Swivel all the way around to the other side. So back heel is down, square the hips to the front of the mat, folding forward. Again, hands can be on blocks, on fingertips, up here, front knee slightly bent, whatever works for you. Just breathing into that stretch. And then start to bend the front knee. Step it all the way back. Find your plank. Slowly lower. Lift to cobra. And then take it back. Downward facing dog. From here, drop the knees to the mat. And you're going to come to lie on your back. So grab hold of your strap. Make sure it's nearby. And then draw the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg long. Breathe into that stretch in the back of the hip. And then from here, take your strap. And lasso your foot. Make sure the strap is on the ball of the foot. And then start to extend it. So just breathe into the stretch here. Extend the heel towards the ceiling or the sky if you're outside like me. Just finding a few rounds of breath here. Breathing into the stretch in the hamstring. And then you're going to take both sides of the strap in your left hand. Draw the leg across your body for a stretch. So, this leg that's twisting across your body doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You can bend the knee. Just breathe into it here. I want you to imagine that you're trying to reach out through the ball of that foot and at the same time draw this hip, this top hip back so you feel that length through the leg. And then coming back to center, switch sides. So lasso the ball of the left foot. Extend. Breathe into the stretch here. And you can hold on with one hand or two. It doesn't matter. Whatever feels best in your body. But try to not like really strain the shoulders and the face against the stretch. And then both sides of the strap in the right hand, bring it over for a twist. Just breathing into the stretch here. And then coming back to center, lose the strap, draw the knees into the chest. Can rock from side to side if that feels good to you. And then finishing with happy baby. So knees go out, arms are inside the legs and grab hold of the outer edge of the feet. Let the knees travel towards the mat, hips are heavy. If holding the outside edges of your feet seems impossible, you can grab the inside edges, whatever works. And you can put a little downward pressure in the feet. Keep working the hips and the tailbone towards the mat. And then bring it back in. One last time. And then extend everything, coming to life fully on your back. For Shavasana, arms alongside the body, palms face up. Or rest the hands on your belly. Let the body soften. Feel it supported by the earth underneath you. Soften the muscles of your face. Let the shoulders be heavy, the hips be heavy. Take a deep inhale through the nose, fill the lungs all the way up. And then sigh it out through the mouth. And again, deep inhale through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Last one, in through the nose. Fill the lungs. And out through the mouth. If you'd like to stay here in your Shavasana for a few more minutes, I'd fully encourage that. But if it's time to get on with your day, then draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself one last hug. Or over to the right side, push to sit. And you are done. I hope you found that helpful. Finding some strength and length in the hamstrings. Feel free to revisit this class as often as possible. Be well.